Hi everybody. I'm going to show you a couple of things that we were doing in class just to remind you about. So what we're going to talk about today is Jetpack, and then we're going to talk about doing some excerpted posts for your cover, because some of you have some landing pages where you don't necessarily want to have the whole article on your post page, and I'm going to show you one way that you can deal with that issue in WordPress, okay? So first of all, when you are in your WordPress site, so here I am on my WordPress site, I can go to my dashboard, and this gives me all my different things. So on mine, what you needed to do was install Jetpack, okay? And Jetpack adds all these nice little tools, site security, performance, all these other things that are like basic level of functionality that you get if you have a WordPress.com blog. And remember the difference. So WordPress.com, think of it like a social media site like Facebook. So you're basically using the WordPress software on their servers. Okay, and that's why you have some limited functionality on your blogs. And depending on when you created your blog, you might not even have this old-fashioned dashboard because they're trying to get rid of it on WordPress.com. But this is, I like this because this is a little more powerful than sort of the streamlined version that they try to do to simplify everything for you. Maybe it's just because I'm used to it, but anyway, so what we are doing is then Jetpack will add some of that basic WordPress.com functionality on the site that we've installed on Reclaim. Okay, so we're using the WordPress software on Reclaim. That's the thing you've set up, and you can tell the difference by the domain. So if I look at the domain, WordPress.com means I'm on WordPress.com. That is completely separate from the site we've set up on Reclaim, which is going to have your domain name and the WP admin, which gets you to the back end. Okay, so that's how you're getting into the software to do your work. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm connecting to WordPress.com, completing the connection. So I have an account on WordPress.com. If you don't have one, create one. It's free. You shouldn't have to pay for that account. Okay, so I hit approve. It's going woo, 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 woo. Page is refreshing for another attempt. In some cases, authorization can take a few attempts. I approve. There we go. Woohoo! And see, they want you to buy some of these things. Don't bother with this because you get the free is perfectly fine. Okay, you don't need to do all this other stuff. And the reason why I say this is you can get your own backup plugin. That there are plenty of backup plugins that do it for free, so you shouldn't need to pay for that. Okay. So what I've done now that it's live, so let's go and make sure that I've connected to this. Install, I'm going to go to Jetpack. And if I did everything right, it should be functional. Hooah! So what you see here is this gives you all different kinds of things you can add in. You get site statistics, which later we're going to add Google Analytics because it's better than the built-in stats here. You get some security, so I'm going to protect my site. You can do the backups, but like I said, you can get other backup plugins to do that. It gives you some idea of the plugin updates. You can add this image performance if you want. So there are some basic things that you can add. And if you go to the apps, this gives you some more options. So you can look around this and see what kinds of things are helpful to you. The other big reason why I want you to install Jetpack is not because of all these things, is because now under the appearance menu, you have this thing called Edit CSS. And that is probably the biggest benefit to Jetpack. And by doing that, that allows you to add some CSS onto your site and you can edit those different pieces to your site. So that's really helpful. Okay, so that's using Jetpack. Okay, and that's why I wanted you to put Jetpack, so you can get that edit CSS function on your site. Okay, so if I can get back. So now what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you on the front of my site. When I go to the front of my site, I'm going to pop it up in a new tab. You'll see, oh, I already did it. Sorry, let me fix this. Okay, so if you look at this post that I put on, remember I added all this Samuel L. Ipsum text, and so it's a nice long paragraph, a nice long post, and maybe what for this entry level post screen, what I want are a bunch of excerpts, and I don't want the full post. Okay, so there's a couple of ways we can deal with that. The first is to make sure under your screen options that you have the featured image available and that you have the excerpt available. Okay, this is off by default, so you need to turn that on. The discussion and comments are also good to have in case you ever want to turn those off. So what I want to do is I don't want this whole big block of text. What I want to do is use a shortened excerpt. So, and I want to use a featured image. So if you think of a magazine site, usually what they do is they have some sort of blurb and they have a picture that allows you to scan through the post really quickly, and then you can click into it if you want to read more. Okay, so I've created this picture and I'm just writing this short little blurb that's going to be my introduction to this wonderful post. Okay, so I hit update. Make sure you always hit update when you change your posts. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and now when I go to my site, if I refresh it, excuse me, sorry about that. When I do that, it doesn't shorten up. So this particular theme doesn't allow me to do this. It recognizes the excerpt, it puts it at the top, but it's still showing the rest of the post. And some themes will do that. Other themes will replace the post with your excerpt and the image. It really depends on the kind of theme that you're using. Okay? So this is not doing what I'm doing. There is a way that I can show you later that will edit the code that you could change this, but right now I'm just going to show you a simpler solution. And that simpler solution is the Read More button. So say what I want to do is here's the introduction to my post. Okay. So what I could do is instead of doing the introduction, I could just add a Read More tag. Okay. See that, read more? And I can put this anywhere in. If I wanted to do like a sample of the introduction, I could move this down if I wanted to. But in this case, what I want to do is I just want to cut off the post. I don't want it to appear at all. Okay? So if I hit update, okay. So there it is. Now when I go back to my front page and I refresh it, now I get my excerpt, I get my picture, and now I just get to continue reading. So there are a couple of things that if you don't like that, then what you could do is you could do some of the post, maybe the first couple of paragraphs, and give sort of a sample and then have that continue reading. It will appear wherever you add that read more button. Okay? So that's how you can do excerpts. And now this is a lot easier to scan. It doesn't have all that Ipsum stuff. It's not too long. It's a lot easier to navigate. Okay, so that's how you can shorten your front page and make it look a little nicer. So that's editing posts, that's editing and inserting Jetpack, and that should get you rolling on cleaning up your landing pages. Several of you had good starts on your landing pages, so keep rolling on them and make sure you're putting some content on that site. It's not all about design. You got to make sure you got the content in there, okay? And that means having good pictures. It means making your posts look well and making sure you have content that's worth clicking through to. Okay, so keep this in mind. I'll probably be doing about one video a day. They may not be very long to help you with your WordPress installation. Okay, have a good one. Talk to you later.